Hey guys, welcome back to the second or third installment in our Kiki Strike mini-series. So for those of you guys who don't know what this is, basically we are going through some of my favorite intra-chapter lessons that Ananka Fishbane gives us in Kiki Strike Inside the Shadow City, and talking about how they are incorporated into the book, how I have incorporated them into my life sometimes. So these are short videos, you can get through a lot of them at a time. I would definitely recommend checking out the rest of the series in the channel. Until then, let's jump right into lesson 2. Alright. So lesson number 2 is how to be a master of disguise. Now this comes, I believe, during chapter 6 in Inside the Shadow City. And they incorporate this lesson so many times in the book, and honestly these are some of my favorite moments of their little adventures in Kiki Strike. It's when Betty gets to pull out her skills and dress them all up, and they get to go undercover in disguise. So the first time we see this is when we meet Betty as a character at her Girl Scout troop, and it's such a big Girl Scout troop that she wears a different disguise every day, and no one ever knows which person is Betty. And I think that is so funny. I think this was the best introduction to a character ever. Kiki and Ananka go to this Girl Scout troop meeting to try and recruit Betty for the irregulars, and everyone thinks that Ananka's Betty because they haven't really seen her before and they have to convince them that she's not Betty, and then Betty shows up all in disguise and totally... It is one of my favorite introductions to a character in any book ever. So let's jump right on into what tips Ananka can give us as how to be a master of disguise. So the first tip she gives us is to look as bland as you can. When you are trying to disguise yourself as someone else, you do not want to stand out, because that just gives people the chance to pick apart your appearance and either realize who you are or realize that you are faking it. So if you are trying to go under disguise or to look like someone else or to not look like yourself at the moment, look as bland as you can. Don't attract attention. No bright colors, no crazy clothes. Tip number 2 goes a little bit along. If you're trying to not look like yourself, then don't look like yourself. Hide your curves under baggy clothes. If you're skinny, maybe add padding. If you are tall, maybe don't wear flats. If you are short, maybe wear heels to make yourself taller. Just different things. Change your basic bodily appearance to look like someone else and to not look like yourself. Now the third tip Ananka gives us is kind of 2 tips in themselves. It tells us, 1, don't wear your own clothes. You will be too recognizable by people who know that blue sweater or people who know that you always wear those boots, things like that. And then 2, make use of a uniform. Wearing uniforms makes you blend in a lot more than anything else, and this again goes back to tip number 1. If you're trying to blend in, make yourself bland, and wearing a uniform that everyone else is wearing helps a lot. And now I forget what tip number we're on, but the final tip is pay attention to the details. Don't just do clothes. Focus on your shoes, focus on your jewelry, your accessories, maybe change how your voice sounds, change how you walk, maybe stuff cotton pads in your cheeks, make a hairdo, things like that. Focus on the details. It is the small details that will give you away, so it is the small details that you have to pay attention to. Now, these tips and tricks that Ananka gives us are a little more along the lines of fun and fantastical. I mean, who of us are going on undercover adventures every day, right? I'm not. But I have used some of these tips just for when I am trying to dress up, when I'm trying to go to, I don't know, prom or to a party or something like that. Some of these tricks actually work really well. It's just things like this. I have put this trick into use in my life, not as much. I'm not going undercover every day, but this is definitely a fun one that I have also made use of in my life. So again, guys, check out Kiki Strike if you can. I would absolutely recommend it. I'm only covering 7 of like the 22 different tips and tricks in this book, so if you want to see more of these tips and tricks than I am doing, definitely buy the book, check it out. Links in the description down below. Like this video, subscribe if you want to see more, if you want to follow the rest of the Kiki Strike mini-series, and again, every subscriber counts. If you subscribe, more people get to see my videos, which means more people get to subscribe, which means I get to gush about my books with more people. So that would be great. Please, please, please subscribe. I will see you guys on Saturday? I think on Saturday. Yes, I will see you guys on Saturday.